Hello and welcome to Devotion to Writing, a channel devoted to helping you cultivate a daily writing practice and realize you are creative abundance. I want to talk about the two greatest enemies to our creativity. And I know that these are big enemies, formidable enemies, because they're two of the things that I have struggled with. Not just me, but everyone who is writing, is creating, even the people that you might look at and say they're successful, they've published, they're well known. Whatever idea you have of success, they may appear to you to be successful, but I guarantee that they too have struggled with these two things in their writing, in their devoting themselves to creating what they want to create. And these two enemies are laziness and cowardice. Now, I hate to even say it because it sounds kind of insulting. I know when my teacher said to me that the reason I wasn't writing was out of laziness, I got very defensive at first. And it took me a little while to kind of sit with that and acknowledge that it was true. And even before I started making these videos, it was 6 months from the time I had the idea to start making devotion to writing videos until I got in front of the camera and started to speak. And it was one, laziness, and two, cowardice that kept me from it. So I want to talk a little bit about each of those briefly and how they affect us, how they limit us as writers, as creators. And they keep us from creating the life that we truly desire. So laziness. Laziness seems kind of explanatory. We feel too lazy to get to the page. We don't feel like it's necessary. We let other things crowd in upon us, and we'll do all of the other things in our lives, but we won't sit down and put pen to the page. We won't type out that story or that poem that we've been wanting to work on. And it boils down to, yes, we have a busy life. We have tons of responsibilities. We have family, we have friends, we have jobs we need to take care of. But when it comes then to the little bit of time that we could devote to our writing, we say, I'd rather watch TV. I'm too tired. I'm going to do X, Y, Z instead of writing. That's laziness. If the writing is truly important, and I believe that it is, or you wouldn't be watching this video, that you wouldn't have clicked on this and started to watch if writing wasn't already calling you, if it wasn't already a voice in you or a desire in you that has been either speaking to you, saying write, or you're attracted to it. Whatever it is, these are signals in you that say you already know you need to write, that you desire to write, that there is something that you know it's valuable for you, to you, and that you need to do it. But laziness can just keep you because it's convenient. I'm tired. I've had a long day. I need to do, take care of other things. And I know that these things, I've run a business for 30 years. I have a family. I have 2 children. I have dogs. I have a property. I have elderly parents. I know that there are things that I have to take care of and that pull us from our creative life. I also know that I have used those things as an excuse because I'm just been too lazy to do it. So one way we get over the laziness is just to acknowledge that it's already important to you, and you just have to take action in direction of your work. It's rigorous. Writing requires something. It doesn't just happen. We're not just so filled with the spirit of something that we have to say that we sit down and we just rush off a story or a poem. It takes work. It takes our attention. It takes discipline. We have to force ourselves sometimes to get up out of the chair, drag ourselves to the page, or turn on the computer, whatever it is, and extract ourselves from our lives and focus intently. It requires that. Focus intently on what we need to write. Now, laziness can also mask cowardice because it's easy if we're really afraid, we can just say, oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I have too many things to do. That can really just be that fear, which is the cowardice, and the cowardice is there. It's so many different things, but what if I'm not good? What if I don't have any talent? What if I don't have anything to say? And these are just a few illustrations of the things that we might feel fear about. But I always say this in these videos, and I say it in my workshops, and I would prove it to you. I hope over time I'll prove it to you, and then eventually through your own practice, you'll prove it to yourself that these things that we say out of fear are not true. All of us can write. We all have talent. You may think you're not as talented as someone else, or that, what you write isn't as good as, a writer that you admire, but that doesn't mean you don't have talent. You have the talent. You might not have put the work in yet, but you have the talent. We can all write, and we all have the ability. We all have the talent. And the other thing that we don't have anything to say, we always have something to say. We just block ourselves from saying it. We stop ourselves from saying it. We say, I can't write that, or that's stupid, or who's going to want to read this, or we let that crowd out kind of this the deeper things that need to come out through us, or we just get impatient and we don't give ourselves time to feel or to hear what we have to say. And so it's that fear, again, that maybe limits all of that. That voice starts, nothing's happening, and then we fear, oh God, I'm really not gonna, I don't have anything, there's nothing happening here. I also say, one of the ways to combat that fear of not having anything to say, or that we won't have anything to say, our practice will develop our patience and just allowing ourselves to sit at the page and accept whatever comes. Accept it. We might not feel great about it the day that we write it, but it doesn't mean it was bad or wrong. There's no right and wrong in writing. So laziness, cowardice, look at those two things and how they keep you from writing. Again, the people you look at, the writers that you acknowledge and say how they're successful, I guarantee that they encounter these things too. Anyone who's creating the things in their lives that they want to create, they're confronting the laziness and the cowardice. They're just not letting it stop them. They're not letting it arrest them. Their creativity is too vital to them, too important. And your own practice will demonstrate to you, as you build your devotion, how vital it is to you and how important it is to you. And so the laziness can no longer override that sense you get from writing. Yes, I don't really feel like writing, but I know that when I write, I feel wonderful. I know that when I write, I create beauty. I know that when I write, I feel at peace. I know that when I write, I feel fulfilled. And that lack of courage, that cowardice too, is overridden by, I don't have anything to fear because I know when I show up, something will be written. I will put something on the page. I will at least have a line or part of a story. Something will come. You don't lack imagination. You don't lack talent. You just lack maybe a will to do it and the courage to do it. Those are the two things. Courage, lack of courage holds us back. Laziness holds us back. So build your writing devotion. Commit 5 minutes every day. I'm going to write from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8:05 in the morning, and do it. Be rigorous. One final thing. Writing is risk. Creating anything out of nothing, from scratch, from the immaterial that is within us, the formlessness that is within us, which is all we have to make of. To write requires risk. We are putting something out there. We are grappling with the unknown, wrestling it into form. So it is a risk. It requires risk, and this is it's an adventure. I don't think of it as a risk and as something that is life-threatening, but it is a risk in that it is challenging to us, that it requires us to grow, to expand, to be open, to surrender, to change, to be rigorous, to be disciplined, to be wild, to risk confronting the biggest, wildest imaginings, dreams, music that we possibly can, and to try to get that onto the page. So, I didn't really give you a writing prompt today, but if I guess I still could. I'll give you this writing prompt, is that just look at where you are lazy about creating, and maybe just ask that question. Am I lazy when it comes to creating? And then you could write about that. Just write into that and investigate. And similarly with cowardice. Am I afraid? What am I afraid of? Maybe that's a good prompt. What am I afraid? What am I afraid of creating? What am I afraid to say? So, see if you get some writing done today with those prompts in mind. I hope you write deeply today. I know that if you do write, you will write beautifully, because beautiful is what you are. Blessings.